So this is the SkyTrak ST Plus, and this is the FlightScope X3. Now the ST Plus comes in at a little under 3 grand, and the X3 comes in at 15 grand. And in today's video, we're putting them head to head just to see how accurate they really are. So let's do this. Now I'm gonna do a little test. I'm gonna hit both my pitching wedge and my 7-iron, and we're gonna see how good these units really are. So let's do this. All right, so we have everything set up as of right now. We have the SkyTrak set up. We have the FlightScope X3 set up with E6 as our display. And first off, I'm gonna take a couple shots with the pitching wedge. I wanna check out our data, see how it looks, both and compare it from what the E6 is showing using the X3 and what the SkyTrak ST Plus is showing using the built-in app. So let's go ahead and take our first shot. So one thing I love about E6 and the X3 is there's a very slow delay in the screen itself. Let's go look at this data together. On this first shot, I got a carry with the FlightScope of 118 versus 117 is only off by about 1 yard. The ball speed showing 93 on the FlightScope versus 92 on the SkyTrak ST Plus. Club speed is showing 73 on the ST Plus, and the club speed is showing 79, so it's off by 6.5, which is pretty interesting. The backspin is showing 70.63 for 71.22 on the ST Plus, so it's essentially the same number. That's pretty nuts, because the X3 is, like I said, it's a $15,000 unit. And then the launch angle is showing a 22.7 on the FlightScope versus 22. So here, lastly, the club path is showing a 5.5 on the FlightScope versus 4.1 on the SkyTrak ST Plus. Now, if you also see too, on the FlightScope, it's showing that the ball went left and then it went a little bit right as it carried out. Now, in terms of the ST Plus, it showed left and it continued left. It didn't really go off to the right a little bit. But I mean, you're talking about a unit that's about a fourth of the price, which is pretty remarkable. But let's go ahead and hit a second shot. My back is super tight. All right, so we went a little bit left to right again. Let's go check these numbers. Now here, the ST Plus did pick up that left to right movement a lot more. As you can see, it kind of showed more left and then went right, which I'm liking to see here. The carry is showing 113 versus 117. So a difference about 4 yards on the carry, still within tolerance. Backspin is 8105 versus 8072. It's only off by like, what, 100? Not even 100, which is pretty remarkable. I am using RCT balls. Ball speed showing 92 and 92.1 on the FlightScope. And lastly, the launch angle here is 25.8 on the FlightScope versus the 25 on the SkyTrak, so essentially the same number. Now, club path showing 4 on the FlightScope versus a 5.2 on the ST Plus. I mean, it's pretty close. It's pretty impressive. Let's hit a third final shot. So hit a little bit fat. So it kind of landed like the first shot. Let's look at these numbers though. Carries off by about 3 yards, 92, let's call it, versus 95. Ball speed 76 versus 77, it's only up a half, so 76.5. Backspin is 53.44 versus 52.08, so only off by like 100. Club speed is 75.9 versus 74, so essentially the same number. Now if we look at club path here, club path showing 7.9 degrees on the ST Plus versus a club path of 1.3 on the X3, so it's interesting it's off by that much. I'm kind of surprised. They are showing I did hit left of target. The ST Plus is showing a little bit further left than what the FlightScope is showing. But I mean, all in all, both very impressive units. You know, we're talking about, you know, roughly a fourth of the price. And these numbers are coming in this close. But let's go ahead and change clubs. We're gonna do this 7-iron now. All right, so this first shot, the 7-iron, see how this turns out. So if you guys are enjoying this video, be sure to like and subscribe and click that notification bell. It really helps out our channel. But if you're interested in either of these units, then check out the links down below from our good friends at playbear.com. They're huge supporters of our show and our community. So a little bit left to right again. So on this first shot of the 7-iron, we got a carry of 138 on the FlightScope versus 137, so off by about a yard. Backspin is 5107 versus 47.52, so off by about 400. Still pretty darn close. Ball speed showing 103.4 versus 103, essentially the same number. Club speed showing 86.8 versus 82. So the FlightScope showing a little bit more club speed by about 4 miles per hour. The club path is showing 4.1 the ST Plus versus 5.4, so a lot closer than that last shot we had taken. But they are both kind of showing the same flight pattern, which is actually kind of cool. A left to right down the center line. And that's pretty amazing. All right, so let's go ahead and hit the second shot, the 7-iron. See how those numbers turn out. All right, so hit a little more solid. There's that fade I cannot get rid of for the life of me right now. But let's see how these numbers turn out. Okay, we got a 140 carry versus a 147, so 7 yards off on the carry. That's pretty interesting that's off by that much. I'm believing the ST Plus on this shot. The ball speed showing a 103.2 versus a 105, so only off by about 2 miles per hour. Backspin is showing 52.51 versus 52.13. I mean, that's only off by 38. That's crazy. Club speed showing 83.7 versus 79. So I have a higher club speed on the FlightScope than I do on the ST Plus, which is interesting. The club path is showing 4.7 on the FlightScope versus 5.3. Now that's pretty close. It's pretty remarkable, actually. And that flight, here we kind of see that the ST Plus showed the ball left of center and it kind of just stayed there, didn't really come back around. While on the other hand, the FlightScope is showing that it was center and then went more right. So, but let's go ahead and hit the third shot with the 7-iron. All right, so that was super toey. Didn't get a good swing on that shot, but it's kind of good to see on a miss out, these numbers kind of come out. Here we got a 119 versus a 117 carry, so 2 yards difference. Backspin showing 47.67 versus 46.17, I mean, that's like 100. Club speed showing 81 versus 77. We saw that before, it's kind of off by about 4 miles per hour. The launch angle on the FlightScope showing 17.3 versus 16 on the ST Plus, so by about 1.5 degrees, let's call it. And then lastly, the club path is showing 0.9 versus 1.5. So it's off by about 0.6 on the club path. But let's look at the flight. So we went, on the FlightScope showing I went far left and stayed left. And that's exactly what the ST Plus is showing. So they're showing the exact same flight path, which is pretty cool, really impressive. But I mean, all in all, it's really impressive to see these numbers because I mean, the ST Plus is coming in at about a quarter of the price of the FlightScope X3. The numbers are pretty close here. I think when it comes down to just the two units itself, I think as a player, you have to kind of ask yourself, what can you afford? So as a player, I think you just need to kind of figure out like, what can you really afford and what features do you want? The X3, like I said, is about 15 grand. It does have E6 connectivity. As you can see, the numbers are pretty close. I mean, this is like as close as we can get it. The ST Plus is coming in a little under 3, and the numbers are pretty close to what the FlightScope is showing. The ST Plus can play multiple courses, same thing as the X3. But I mean, I'm really impressed with the ST Plus for what you get for the technology that's built into it. It's super impressive. I mean, for what it costs for the X3, you could probably put a whole simulator in your house using the ST Plus. Big thanks to our friends at Indoor Golf Design for releasing an amazing professional indoor golf simulator. So I'd highly recommend to check out the SkyTrak ST Plus this golf season if you're looking for an affordable launch monitor that can be used as an indoor golf simulator. But if you guys want to see what we thought of the Mevo Plus, the biggest competitor to the SkyTrak ST Plus, then check out this video right here where we put it to the test. And I'll see you in the next video.